Good Friday afternoon, everyone. I'm 10 Tampa Bay Chief Meteorologist Bobby Deskins with a tropical update, and we're going to start today over in the Pacific because we've got Hurricane Hilary, 145 mile per hour winds, Cat 4, went from basically less than a depression to a major hurricane in about 48 hours. Now we're up to Cat 4. You can see the coast of Baja here. Winds at 145, it's moving to the northwest at 10 miles per hour. Now, here's the forecast track, and if you know anything about the west coast, the water here along the west coast is cold, and hurricanes need 80+ degree water to maintain. So you can see weakening forecast as it moves off to the north Saturday night, Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon. The center now will be close to the Mexico-California border, but there'll be a lot of weather out ahead of it. That's the center. Look how much weather is out ahead of it. Right, so all of this is going to be moving Sunday up into the desert southwest, including Southern California, Nevada, and Arizona. So if you look at the track a little bit closer here, the forecast winds do come down quickly. However, it's still a hurricane when it moves onshore in Baja, if that's where it eventually does that, and will weaken quickly, but it's still enough to put 50, 60 mile per hour winds into Southern California. So look at these watches and warnings. Hurricane watch for the Mexican coast, but you get up here to Southern California, they have tropical storm watches, which means we could see winds above 40 miles per hour, anywhere from 40 to about 70 miles per hour in this area. This is the first time that they've ever issued a tropical storm watch for Southern California, San Diego, San Clemente, all the way up Orange County, Palm Springs, just south of Barstow, California. Now, if you look at the forecast model for rain, wind will be an issue, yes, but rainfall is going to be the main issue. 4 to 5 inches of rainfall is possible in these brighter oranges that you see here. Some areas could actually see a little bit more than that. But the problem is this is falling over basically a desert, right? Very dry area. 4 to 5 inches of rain in Florida is not a big deal. 4 to 5 inches of rain here is a big deal. It does include Vegas, although looks like the heaviest rain will stay to the west. But this is just one run of the model. And earlier runs had this a little bit further to the east, so it's something that we're going to have to watch. But certainly areas from LA all the way out, especially I think Palm Springs will be kind of right in the bullseye. And even parts of Phoenix, you know, parts of Arizona, western Arizona especially, we'll have to watch for it. Now, let's come back to our side of the continent, and you can see we've got a 70% chance development for this wave here, 40% for the wave in the middle. There's another one here that we don't have chances for development on it quite yet. And then there's this wave here that's going to drift off towards the west. That's about a 40% chance. So you can see all together, not a big deal, but the one out east is the one that we're watching the most. And this is the first one here that we'll be watching. I think it ends up going more west-northwest than anything else. If you look at this one that's closer to us, this is a tropical wave, right? Just like the others, not organized, but this is coming west-northwest and going all the way over towards Texas. That is our extra rainmaker for Sunday and Saturday night, Sunday night. And then it's going to move on into the Gulf of Mexico. We do not expect it to develop before it gets here. It's something that we'll watch, but it doesn't look like that's likely at this time. Now, there's some wind shear out there, but not a lot at this point. So to drift this thing west-northwest, it's going to run into some shear. And a lot of the models that do develop these don't do a whole lot with them. You can see we also have a lot of dry air out there. This is dust from the Saharan desert, really dries out the atmosphere. So it's going to have to fight, well, they are going to have to fight some wind shear and some dry air to get going. The one in the far eastern Atlantic, that's 98L. Forecast models take it to the north and the west and then eventually try and recurve it. Does not look like it would be a threat to land. Come back out towards that center one, and you can see it goes more towards the Lesser Antilles and then turn a little bit more towards the north and the west. I think the islands would have to watch this, especially up towards St. Martin, those areas, but that would be later on into early next week. And it looks like now it's going to struggle to get there. The one that's in here, this one we're not tracking quite yet with models. But let me show you the European forecast model here. There comes the wave moving over top of us Sunday morning into Sunday night. That'll give us extra rain in the afternoon. There's the front leading wave, gets into the Eastern Caribbean. This is by Sunday morning. This one I think has a better chance than all of them really to develop, as it wants to turn and come up over Hispaniola and then turn to the northeast. There's our middle wave, not looking too good. There's our back wave, and yes, that's another one coming off of Africa that we'll keep an eye on. By Monday morning, there's the system That's the front runner in the Atlantic right now, right? That's closing the low off. This one's actually kind of in this area here, not looking impressive. Our second one, the far eastern one now, does try to do some development, but you can see how far out it is. And in the way that we'll be coming off of Africa, we'll try and spin up. We've got a lot of lift in the atmosphere, and this is kind of how it works. You'll go from nothing to a bunch all at the same time because the atmosphere comes just right. Looks like that's what we'll be looking at late this weekend and into next week. But by Tuesday morning, there's the system. Remember, here we are in Florida. Look at this cranked up. That's our Sunday rain. By Tuesday morning is trying to close a low and develop as it moves towards Texas. Wednesday into Thursday, that moves on shore. Here comes our system across Hispaniola. Friday, by Friday evening, it's moving out to sea. All the others well out to sea. Florida's still looking pretty good. A lot to talk about, but not a lot of threat, at least for Florida at this particular time. So we'll keep you updated right here on 10 Tampa Bay.